before I do so, as you instruct, I do want to indicate that through all those positions, that public positions that I have had the privilege to occupy, from MEC, Premier, ministerial positions, I have never been accused of corruption, not once. This is the first time that I get accused of such, as alleged particularly on the 6th of July. Now, the orientation that I'm talking about was the orientation that got organized in the main by a National Commissioner, together with his deputies and other senior officers and subs, shortly after we got sworn in as ministers, and together with the deputy ministers that I serve with. So we met police management on a meet and greet basis, and we planned how the orientation would unfold. And thereafter, we started without any waste of time, from just shortly, I think within a week, running those orientations from July up to December. But I must add that we went beyond December, even though it was no longer just pure orientation. It involved some discussions, some decision-making. In fact, even during the period of orientation, because it would be repetitive in some cases, getting to other levels of matters, we would then have discussions and in some cases take decisions during orientation, broadly speaking. But where there was an opportunity, we would then narrow down on particular issues. And we proceeded then until December. And I would say that a little bit beyond that in some cases. Now, what we were dealing with in the main during those orientations, it was structural and organizational matters. And I should take it that it was logical that as new people, newly appointed minister, we would have needed to know the layers of subs from national up to a police station, and also know the organization horizontally. And indeed, it was structural in nature in the main. Personally, I was interested on these matters because as soon as we got appointed, I had a sense that we would need to get into some of the challenges of subs that I had some distant understanding on, that were structural in nature, and therefore it was quite an opportunity for us to learn those. And there were particular dates when we would focus on a matter, like the 12th of June, 15th of July, the 14th of August, and the 19th of November, where in the main we're dealing with crime intelligence almost exclusively, and so on. Now, because of a number of reasons, it was during that period, during those discussions and engagements, when one of the things that we picked up was that the head of crime intelligence is also the head of National Political Killings Task Team at the same time. Now, I did engage a little bit with that particular matter as we picked it up, as we picked it during that time, saying that how did it happen? I was asking a question and made a comment or a remark that it possibly was oversight when that decision was made. Lieutenant General Khumalo was first appointed as head of National Political Task Team, sometimes known as PKTT. And then in 2020, that was 2018. And then thereafter, in 2022, he was appointed as head of crime that particular matter after picking it up and making commentary about it. But we also got to know...
Minister, sorry,
Yes.
please hold your thought. Don't forget where you were. I get confused. My impression is that you use the royal we, although you are referring only to yourself. But sometimes on the odd occasion you will use I. And where you are in a meeting situation and you say, we decided, I'm not quite sure whether it's only you that decided, you as the minister, after being briefed by those you would be with, or whether it was a decision of all of you, you and the other people with whom you are at a meeting. So I get confused between the royal we and the singular I.
Well, yes, I was, when I used I was making reference to the question that I asked during that meeting and those engagements, which I assume to be in the interest of all of us who were there, particularly the ministry, meaning the two deputy ministers that...
So must I understand we to refer to more than just you? So it's not the royal we?
No, it is just us.
Thank you. Thank you
yes.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. And Minister, just while we're on that, at paragraph 15 of your statement, you refer to the participants in that orientation process. You say it's senior management of the police, and you identify General Masimola, and you say his deputy ministers, his deputies. So the National Commission and his deputies, would that have been General Sabia, Lieutenant General Sentimule, Lieutenant General Sabia, and Lieutenant General Musikiri?
Not exactly. Not Lieutenant General Sentimule, but his deputies are Lieutenant General Musikidi, Lieutenant General Sibia, and then there is an acting general in support services, Lieutenant General Khua. Those are the three deputies. But there is then CFO, who is at the same level as well, as the deputies in finance. It's just that normally, when you talk about Deputy National Commissioners, you refer to the three, but she's actually there as well at the same level. So those are the people I'm referring to, but there would be other staff or other police officers depending on the matter at hand.
Thank you. And so insofar as you dealt with the dual role of Lieutenant General Khumalo, Dumisani Khumalo, and those discussions had arisen, who brought that tension up about his dual roles? Who was the person that raised that concern in the meeting?
I raised that concern myself, politely.